There is no peace to the wicked, from Isaiah 47:22. There will be weeping and gnashing of teeth, from Matthew 8:12. While I moved from one inscription to the other, my guide, who had stood in the center of the courtyard, came up to me. From here on, he said, no one may have a helpful companion, a comforting friend, a loving heart, a compassionate glance, or a benevolent word. All this is gone forever. Do you want to see, or would you rather experience these things yourself? I only want to see, I answered. Then come with me, my friend added. And taking me in tow, he stepped through the gate into a corridor, at whose far end stood an observation platform, closed by a huge single crystal pane stretching from the pavement to the ceiling. As soon as I crossed its threshold, I felt an indescribable terror and dared not to go another step ahead of me. I could see something like an immense cave, which gradually disappeared into the recesses, sunk far into the bowels of the mountains. They were all ablaze, but theirs was not an earthly fire with leaping tongues of flames. The entire cave, walls, ceiling, floor, iron, stones, wood, and coal, everything was aglow, white, at temperatures of thousands of degrees. That the fire did not incinerate, it did not consume. I simply can't find the words to describe the cavern's horror. The nourishment thereof is fire, and much wood, the breath of the Lord as a torrent of brimstone kindling it, from Isaiah 33, from 30:33. I was staring in bewilderment. About me, when a lad dashed out of a gate, seemingly unaware of anything else, he emitted a most shrilling scream, like one who seemed to fall into a cauldron of liquid bronze, and plummeted into the center of the cave. Instantly, he too became incandescent and perfectly motionless, while the echo of his dying wail lingered for an instant more. Terribly frightened, I stared briefly at him for a while. He seemed to be one of my oratory boys. Isn't he so-and-so? I asked my guide. Yes, was the answer. Why was he so still, so incandescent? You chose to see, he replied. Be satisfied with that. Just keep looking. Besides, everyone shall be salted with fire. Mark 9:48. As I looked again, another boy came hurtling down into the cave at breakneck speed. He too was from the oratory. As he fell, so he remained. He too emitted one single heart-rending shriek that blended into the last echo of that scream that came from the youth who had preceded him. Other boys kept hurtling in the same way in increasing numbers, all screaming in the same way, and then became frozen, equally motionless and incandescent. I noticed that the first seemed frozen to the spot, one hand and one foot raised in the air, and a second boy seemed bent almost double to the floor. Others stood or hung in various other positions, balancing themselves on one foot or a hand, sitting or lying on their backs or on their sides, standing or kneeling, hands clutching their hair. Briefly, the scene resembled a large statuary group of youngsters cast into ever more painful postures. Other lads hurtled into that same furnace. Some I knew, others were strangers to me, and then I recalled what's written in the Bible to the effect that as one falls into hell, so shall he remain forever. In what place soever it shall fall, there it shall be, from Ecclesiastes 11:3.